Working at DARPA isn't a job, it's a chance to build a legacy. Today, I will share 3 key messages with you. First, we'll go behind the walls of the DARPA headquarters in Arlington, Virginia, to give you a sneak peek at what it's like to work at one of the most revered agencies in US history. Second, I will demystify the varied avenues that we use to bring bold thinkers to DARPA. Third and finally, I will leave you with instructions on how to learn more, and equally as important, share this message with others. Hello, my name is Colleen Ryan, and I'm the Chief Talent Officer for DARPA. It is a privilege to be here at MTO Spark Tank and have the chance to spend time with all of you wonderful people. Thank you, Whitney, wherever you are, for the opportunity to join in. I recognize that I'm one of the last few things standing between you and Friday night happy hour or going home to your loved ones, so I promise to make good use of your time. Before I get started, I think it's important to share a bit about my background so that you have context on my perspective. For starters, I'm relatively new to DARPA. I've been with the agency just shy of a year, and I'm still learning every day. Additionally, I've always worked in the private sector, mostly in earlier stage disruptive technology companies. I was born and raised in Silicon Valley, and yes, I'm probably guilty of being an annoying Californian, which I have learned is a thing. This is my first time living in our nation's capital, and the first time that I've had the privilege of serving my government in some capacity. Being a civil servant is entirely new to me. As such, I came into my role with fresh eyes and no learned bias, other than the typical stereotype that one hears about working for the government, which is that it essentially moves slower than industry and has a bit of bureaucracy. So, with no prior background in Washington, D.C., the Department of Defense, or as a civil servant, I started my journey at DARPA. It was clear to me immediately that DARPA is like no other place to work. I realized quickly that the stereotype that I had heard about working for the government did not apply. It is a lean organization full of people who are willing to take risks, celebrate failure, and extraordinarily driven to make their mark before their time expires. The organization has been designed intentionally to drive this culture. Sorry, I should probably advance slides. So let me walk you through the 5 cultural nuances that make DARPA such an incredible place to come every day. The first component is mission alignment. Our mission, as you all well know, is to create technological surprise for national security. DARPA's mission has never wavered. Everything that we do must be aligned to the mission. When reviewing what we decide to pursue, we ask ourselves, is it DARPA hard? This is because 2 simple words put together, technological and surprise, make our mission both incredibly important and almost impossible. Surprise is not incremental. Surprise is not a mere advancement. Surprise is not on a distant but foreseeable roadmap. Surprise requires that our program managers think beyond impossibility and bring forth ideas capable of changing the trajectory of technology entirely. While our mission doesn't expressly say it, there's an additional phrase that we all know is implied. That phrase is for the benefit of the warfighter. Creating technological surprise in service of the warfighter could mean a lot of things, technologically speaking. For me personally, the most important interpretation of this is that American soldiers are best positioned, equipped, heal faster, and most critically, have a greater chance of coming home to their families. DARPA's mission is critically important for our nation, and it's always at the forefront of our minds. It guides our choices and propels us forward with urgency. Speaking of urgency, urgency is the second unique feature of DARPA's culture that I would like to discuss. At DARPA, we operate with urgency because our time is limited. DARPA has created a perpetually self-renewing talent cycle, which ensures that fresh ideas, fresh perspectives, and fresh energy are continually entering the agency. You can think of it as a sort of organizational musical chairs, but with intentionality. So how do we achieve this? Everyone that we hire in our non-contract positions, or otherwise known as TITA positions, are time limited in some way. Our office leaders and program managers are all on 2-year appointments that can be extended for a maximum of 6 years on a single appointment. Our government civilian employees, which are most often found in our support offices, are hired on term limited appointments as well, placements as well. When I first got to DARPA, I started having conversations with various folks in the organization to get an understanding of their employee experience. In one of my first meetings, the person that I was meeting with referenced their badge date and plans post-DARPA. Coming from industry where people rarely openly talk about their plans to leave an organization for fear of how it will be perceived, I was struck by the openness with which this person discussed their upcoming departure. I continued to hear the term badge date until I finally learned that it meant the date that our badge expires, which is conveniently printed in bold font on the front of our badges. We literally walk around the building with expiration dates on display, like gallons of milk at a grocery store. I've come to learn that this is a beautiful thing for 4 reasons. First, the urgency that it creates with each person to make their mark with the time given to them at the agency. You come to DARPA and to redefine a technological landscape entirely, but you won't get indefinite time in which to do it. As I previously mentioned, it allows for new ideas, thoughts, technical expertise, and energy to continually enter the building. We actively and openly push out our beloved coworkers to make space for the next brilliant mind waiting to create their legacy. From an HR perspective, it allows us to speak openly about the reality that people will be leaving DARPA and help them prepare for their next adventure. We want people to leave DARPA stronger than they came. And finally, it allows us to make a big deal when somebody leaves. We celebrate departures with meaningful farewell ceremonies that are a special element to our culture. The third cultural nuance that I'd like to share with you is our aversion to institutional memory. As an organization focused on inventing the future, we don't let ourselves get mired in the past. You will never hear someone at DARPA say, we must do it this way because that's the way we do it. It's always done that way. Our culture is intentional about not documenting processes or ways of working because we don't want to unintentionally limit the agency's potential or agility. For us, just because we do it one way now doesn't dictate the need to do it that way in the same way in the future. Or just because an idea failed in the past doesn't mean a similar program wouldn't be successful at some point down the line. Essentially, DARPA allows itself to continually shape-shift to meet the technological problem sets of today without excessive baggage of expectation or tradition. For an organization with 60+ years behind it, its unwavering focus on the future is an achievement in and of itself. The fourth cultural nuance that I would like to discuss is enabled by our aforementioned aversion to institutional memory. In addition to not being held hostage by our past, we embrace the spirit of innovation in everything that we do. Creativity, problem solving, and innovation, and an innovation mindset paired with deep subject matter expertise are not unique to technical offices. Every function is expected to maximally contribute to the mission. For our support functions, this means thinking creatively to find new ways to meet an objective or embrace unknowns. A few examples of this are our contracts management office, finding new ways to expedite processes to allow for faster awards and less work to start more quickly. Or in the talent function, embracing hiring authorities that are granted to DARPA but don't exactly come with a how-to guide. As a result, we seek out and attract people who are not only subject matter experts, but are willing to pioneer new approaches, are comfortable with ambiguity, are willing to embrace risk, and welcome the unknown. This leads me to the fifth and final cultural insight that I plan to discuss today, which is our people. I'm a firm believer that any organization is only as good as the people within it. And while it should come as no surprise that there is no shortage of brilliance at DARPA, the brilliance of our people is only one thing that makes them a special group. Sure, exceptionally smart, talented people are one component, but there are a few more requirements. First is variety. Our brilliant minds cover a broad range of disciplines and perspectives. Walking the halls, you will find active duty military, academics on loan, veterans, professionals like myself from the private sector new to government service, PhDs aplenty, postdoc fellows and government contractors, with technical expertise and non-technical backgrounds. Additionally, people come from all over the country to serve at DARPA, all with unique life experiences. This variety is important and special to DARPA. Second is service. Service to the mission drives everyone at the agency. We recognize that we must humbly carry the sacred mission to serve our warfighters and do so with urgency. When your focus is on the mission, there is little room for anything else, anything except exceptional delivery. Take those key ingredients and then add proximity. We are not a distributed workforce. There are a few pockets of folks seated away from headquarters when it makes sense for their program. But otherwise, people are in the National Capital Region together. Many of our employees have moved to be part of the organization or commute away from their families to be with us during the week. This means that all that brilliance and energy can be found under one roof, interacting organically at the cafe or at organizational events. Collaboration and the exchange of ideas is easy. In essence, it is a very simple recipe to create technological surprise. Take a wide variety of brilliant minds, give them a singular mission, and unleash them under one roof to create the future. Now that I've told you a bit about what makes DARPA special, I want to walk you through the opportunities that exist and the mechanisms that we use to bring folks to the team. I'll highlight the 5 primary opportunity categories in the next few minutes. So we'll start with the program manager. The agency has shaped itself around the role of the program manager, or PM. Everything is built to enable our program managers to execute their vision quickly, before their time expires, and without internal constraint or friction. Remember, our PMs are given a short runway to make their mark before they must move on and someone else takes their turn. There is a unique aspect to identifying talent for our program manager positions. We typically don't just hire people, we hire game-changing ideas. In addition to the right attributes, the right mix of attributes to be a successful PM, we often hire both the combination of the candidate and their idea. Recruiting for our PMs is decentralized and led by each individual office. Our office directors and deputy directors are incredibly motivated to find the most qualified candidates to help them execute their office strategy. While the recruiting processes vary from office to office, there is one constant, the Heilmeier Catechism. All offices have candidates present their bold ideas during the interview process using this set of questions. They're essentially replicating one aspect of what they will do in their role, pitching a DARPA hard idea to agency leadership. As with anything, there are exceptions to this rule, but this tends to be a standard procedure. Once a candidate is identified, the talent team will do everything possible to what we call get to yes, to make onboarding a reality. We have a variety of mechanisms that we can use to hire our PMs. We have academics on IPAs, active duty military on loan from their service, folks from the private sector on commercial IPAs, and direct hires using our hiring authorities. We are a small agency, and our PM numbers are small when compared to the outsized impact that the collective cohort has had on the world. It is a coveted role with limited headcount, but for those who do land it, it offers the consummate platform to build a legacy. Now, the reality is not everyone will be selected to be a PM. It takes a special blend of skills, expertise, and bold thinking. And while they are the center of our efforts, PMs are in reality a very small part of our population within the walls. So while PM opportunities are limited, the great news is that there's plenty of other ways to contribute to the mission. And this brings me to our second category of opportunities, which is our largest, our beloved CETAs. CETA stands for Science and Engineering Technical Assistance and is our term for contract hires, essentially a contractor with the organization. As I mentioned, DARPA full-time staff is quite small. We intentionally keep the team lean and agile. Our CETA population far outnumbers our direct hire population. While we pride ourselves in our intentional system of talent renewal within our direct hire population, our CETA population does not have the same limits. As such, we have CETAs who have contributed for years, sometimes decades, crossing between offices, carrying with them institutional knowledge and well-earned wisdom on how to get things done. They are the engine within the machine, ensuring that we can work quickly and effectively. It is important to note that while this cohort is called Science and Engineering Technical Assistants, it is a misnomer. This large talent group covers a full spectrum of professionals, from executive assistants to financial analysts to facilities professionals to PhDs and subject matter experts of all flavors. This is a critical population for us, and there is huge opportunity for impact as a CETA. One thing is certain, though, DARPA would not be able to do what it does without the incredible contributions and dedication of our CETA team. Moving on to the third category of talent we have in our population is our government civilian employees. If our CETAs are the engine, then this cohort is the skeleton that gives structure to the machine. Our GS employees are typically found within our support functions, things like contracting, HR, facilities, security, and IT. They're the best of the best in their respective fields, but that isn't enough for DARPA. We have selected a unique group of risk-tolerant, avant-garde thinkers willing to push the status quo and question the expected. Innovation is in our DNA and everything that we touch. This means that our GS employees are always looking for new ways of working and reinventing processes so that we can move faster, work more efficiently, and maximally contribute to the mission. Under our current model, we hire government civilians under term-limited placements, but this hasn't always been the case. And this is another area where you will see long-serving employees who have become trusted resources of institutional knowledge. On to number 4, and a very cherished group for DARPA, military. As I discussed earlier, DARPA's mission serves national security at a macro level, and at a micro level, we serve the individual warfighter. To make sure that we're solving problems that will serve the warfighter, we must have their perspective. We must understand what challenges they face and what problems technology can solve for them. We have several ways that we bring active duty into our halls. As I mentioned before, we have PMs that wear uniforms. We also have fellows, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And we have our liaison officers who work with our agency leadership to navigate relationships between their home service and any personnel matters. We have some fixed billets that follow a very standard process to fill, but we will also negotiate bespoke agreements when a candidate from the armed forces is identified for DARPA. And their home service will agree to this because they understand that this soldier, individual soldier, can have greater impact at DARPA, and it's for the greater good. Finally, fellowships. The fifth and final way into DARPA is through our fellowships. Our fellowships allow us to build bridges with talent in pivotal points in their careers, forging lasting connections. Our hope is that these fellows consider returning to DARPA at a later date. And in the interim, we hope that they act as evangelists throughout their career. Our first program is our Innovation Fellows program. This is for early career scientists and active duty military. Our Innovation Fellows serve for 2 years, developing and managing topics funded under our Advanced Research Concepts Initiative, which is designed to explore and seize the potential within emerging fields of scientific inquiry to result in game-changing technologies for national security applications. In addition to our Innovation Fellows program, we have 2 military-focused fellowships. First is our Service Chief Fellows program. It lasts 12 weeks and gives outstanding members of the armed forces an opportunity to experience DARPA firsthand, getting an up-close and personal experience into our unique model of innovation. They have the chance to delve into specific areas of scientific interest and build connections to carry forward. Once they're back in their home service, they act as informal liaisons between DARPA and their branch of service and participate in our Service Chief Fellows alumni group. And the second opportunity for military fellows is our academic fellows. This program allows military officers to come to DARPA for 1 academic year. They have a strategic focus and are tasked with fostering collaboration across the government to enhance warfighter capability. All right, you've heard all about the wide variety of ways that we bring people to DARPA and what makes it so special. So now I'd like to give you a sense of what to do next and how to learn more. Our career site is a great place to get a better sense of opportunities, how to apply, who to engage with. I suggest you go there. Additionally, you just heard about DARPA Connect. Create an account there. We'll give you access to their modules. We can learn more about the organization. We are becoming more active on LinkedIn. I suggest following DARPA to get real-time content and updates from the organization, which are not contained simply to employment posts. It's a great way to have a pulse on the latest happenings at DARPA. Sorry. And finally, we have a member of our recruiting team here at DARPA, here at Spark Tank. Sam is at the table in the hallway. So please, if you have any questions, wander over, talk to Sam. He's a lovely individual and he'd be happy to chat. Thank you for listening today about what makes DARPA so special and the opportunities that exist to support the mission. As I leave you, I do have one small favor. Please help tell the story to your network. If you know of anyone that might be interested in DARPA, let them know where to find resources and where to go. DARPA must continue to deliver against our mission, and it all starts with having great people. Thank you.